Far away, nestled amidst greenery, was a small village named Dharmapur. Time seemed to stand still there. There was no urban rush, no fast-paced life. People worked in the fields during the morning, rested under the shade of trees in the afternoon, and gathered at the village square in the evening to sing folk songs and share stories. In this village stood an old mud house where three sisters, Sarita, 24 years old, Kajal, 21, and Reshma, 18, lived with their aged grandfather Dharmdas. Their parents had died in a tragic accident when they were young, and since then, their grandfather had raised them with love and care. In the village, the sisters were known as simple, cultured, and hard-working girls. People always spoke highly of them. But the peace of Dharmapur was about to be shattered. One morning, the village midwife Guru Kahani went door to door, mumbling in anger, "Oh God, what kind of world is this? Unmarried and all three sisters pregnant at once?" Women gathered around her, eyes full of questions, hearts anxious. One asked, "Who are you talking about, Guru Kahani?" Guru Kahani covered her mouth and whispered, "Dharmdas's granddaughters. All three are pregnant." These words sent a shockwave through the village. The news spread like wildfire. At the square, in the fields, near the well, and even in the temple, people talked about only one thing. How did three sisters become pregnant without marriage? Dharm Stayingins, once a respected member of the village council, had now stopped stepping outside his home. His eyes were filled with shame and pain. Sarita, Kajal, and Reshma couldn't look anyone in the eye, but strangely, they were all silent, and so was Dharmdas. The villagers decided to call a panchayat, village council. The headman Bolaram declared, "If these girls have committed a sin, they must face justice here. They've brought disgrace to our village." But the roots of this mystery ran far deeper, and now, those hidden layers were slowly beginning to unfold. There was chaos in the village. People whispered at every door and every street corner. Some blamed the sisters, others questioned their upbringing, but the three sisters had a strange calm on their faces, as if holding back a storm inside. Even Dharmdas Baba remained silent. He met no one and didn't attend the panchayat. That night, Sarita quietly cooked dinner. The three sisters ate silently and went to their room. But something changed that night. The next morning, as the panchayat gathered again, Sarita opened an old wooden trunk in her grandfather's room and took out a piece of paper. It was a letter. As Dharmdas read it, tears rolled down his cheeks. His hands trembled. The letter read, "Baba, I know what has happened has weighed heavily on your heart. You must be wondering how your granddaughters came to be in this condition. But the truth no one knows. Baba, when Mum and Dad left us, you protected us. But when we used to go to school, something happened. Something we could never gather the courage to tell you. A teacher, yes, the same one who's still respected in this village, violated our dignity. First it happened with me, then Kajal, then Reshma. We stayed silent because he threatened us, said he would kill you if we spoke. We were young, Baba, too young to understand what was right or wrong. But slowly, when Kajal and Reshma went through the same pain, we found solace in each other. Now that new life grows inside us, people call us sinners. But Baba, we did not sin. We just endured a pain that was forced upon us. All I ask is if anyone points a finger at us, show them this letter. Don't let us be shamed, Baba. Yours, Sarita." After reading the letter, Dharmdas didn't break. He rose like a flame. He grabbed his staff and marched to the village council, where the entire village was gathered. Headman, teacher, elders. Dharmdas read the letter aloud. Silence. The teacher's head bowed in shame. Some villagers cried. Some looked down in disgrace. The teacher tried to escape, but Dharmdas's staff had already found him. Now the council had to decide, but for whom? For the three sisters, who had suffered injustice? Or for the teacher, who had hidden behind the veil of respectability to commit monstrous acts? That day the village council was silent. No applause, no chaos, only stillness, the kind that comes before a storm. Sarita's letter had shaken the village to its core. There were no more tears in Dharmdas's eyes, only fire. And that fire wasn't his alone. Now Kajal stood up. Her breathing was heavy, face pale, but her eyes burned like a volcano. "I will speak today, in front of everyone, because living in fear is worse than dying after telling the truth." Everyone stared at her. Some women glared in disgust. Some men looked regretful, and some still doubted her. But Kajal's voice didn't stop. "I was just 13 when I started school in the village. Sarita Didi was already there. Baba wanted us educated, so we wouldn't be a burden on anyone. One day, the teacher said I was weak in math and needed extra lessons. I was innocent. I believed him. After class, he called me into the staff room. He was alone. He said, 'Don't be scared, this is for your good.' Then he locked the door, and the darkest day of my life began. Kajal choked but didn't stop. He violated me, wounded my body, crushed my soul. And when I cried, he threatened, "Tell anyone, and I'll have your grandfather killed." I stayed silent. At home I cried, but Sarita Didi held me, because she had already endured it. Later, he didn't even spare my younger sister Reshma. Now, sobs echoed through the crowd. Some women clutched their heads and wept. One mother hugged her son tightly, whispering, "This monster was teaching our children." The teacher stood at the back, face covered. When recognized, some young men caught him. He shouted, "They're lying, trying to defame me." But no one heard him anymore. The truth was now in the eyes of those girls, and it wasn't fake. Sarpanch Bolaram, who once blamed the girls, now hung his head and said, "We always blamed the girls, but the real devil lived among us." The school meant to be a temple of learning had become a predator's den. Dharmapur's Panchayat declares, 1. Teacher Ramesh shall be handed over to the police. 2. The 3 sisters will be honored as daughters of the village. 3. No one will question their pregnancies again. 4. A women's safety committee will be formed, so no girl suffers in silence again. Tears rolled down Damdas Baba's face, but this time they were not of sorrow. They were tears of pride. Kajal's testimony had not just exposed a monster, it had shaken the village's conscience. Now, the women were no longer silent. Many girls came forward to share their stories at the Panchayat. A new teacher was appointed, one accountable to the women of the village. Sarita, Kajal and Reshma no longer hid. Even while pregnant, they refused to bow. Where society tried to shame them, they lit a new path for it to follow. Because they were not just girls about to become mothers, they were warriors who fought back. If this story touched your heart, please like, share with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.